friends, family, and followers. I want to start a series about contouring. Now, if you know about anything about agriculture, you probably have some idea what a contour is. Generally, land has peaks and slopes and troughs and valleys and all sorts of weird movements, and the contour is a line. It's straight on the topographical map, so it actually often looks like a curvy line, but it's a straight with regards to elevation. These contours are important in, I guess you should say, the more slope you have, the more important they can become. And we are transforming this coffee field. Was one of our primary coffee fields. We have another one on the other side of the farm, and that one is still in operation. This one is getting, we're soqueando. We are cutting down the coffee and leaving and replanting it. Now, the coffee was planted not on contour, so we're adjusting it. So you'll be able to see as we open this up other things we've done. Some of the things we're planting, we're trying to plant everything now on contour and get everybody into that program. You'll see here's some plantains, bananas, and this row here is yuca, cassava. And as we cut down the coffee, you could see along this, I don't know, it's hard for me to move my hand in that direction, but we're putting the coffee scraps here, we're kind of making a barrier. There's some plantains, and that barrier, we're going to kind of follow that around the bend here. Intermittent. Now here, some coffee still standing, and we have our chickens behind me now. And so there is some benefit to leaving some of the plants, coffee plants there. They will continue to produce a little bit. We may prune them como mesa. They cut them off at about chest height, and they'll bush out more and they'll resprout and stuff. And so as we go along, you can see that contour that we're cutting is curved, but it's straight in elevation. And so we want to cut this lot as a kind of a triangular shaped lot that goes down this mountain. We want to cut it into several lateral areas and plant accordingly. And that's what we're going to be trying to document. Okay, now I'll go back the other way. We have native plants and other things that we've planted over the years. They don't all fit in exactly on the contour. This is a fruit type of guava tree there. And this is a red chilcos. This actually is bitter salvia amarga, which can be used to keep bugs off your stuff. It has like an essential oil that's very bitter. And this one is red chilco. It's kind of doesn't grow as big as the white chilco that I really like. That's good for firewood. But this red chilco, I don't know, I haven't really figured out what I'm using it for yet, but I've left it. It is kind of bushy. I'm sure somebody is enjoying it. I just have to keep watching it to figure out who it is, what its uses are. And as we come along here, we'll see some other things that did line up almost kind of well. What are we seeing here? This is I believe this is tachuelo. It's got a spiky trunk here, and some banana. That's a plantain there. And here's some more red chilco, but behind that's a guava. And so I'm walking, and you can see here. Am I showing it? You can see here a little guava. This is a more traditional guava that was most likely fed to our sheep, and they planted it here. Here you can see some cuttings, the old coffee bushes here. That coffee wood we'll use to form this barrier or do other projects that require the wood. And here is a common tree associated with coffee. There's a nogal cafetero. I don't know the scientific name off the top of my head. I should correct that. This has very tiny seeds, and it's supposed to go really straight and tall. Here's a little bud. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. And this contour is also, this contour that I just walked will need a path. And we're going to make that into a path planted below and above. And I've switched around, but I'm continuing on the same elevation here. And find myself under this tree, the Inga adulis. We have very happily planted the Inga, so I'm under one. And I'm going to show you the one behind me. This Inga adulis is a nitrogen fixing tree. It is, I'm very happy to say, one of the first things we planted all over the farm, and worked out really well for us. It's flowering now after 6-ish years, 5 years probably, 5.5-ish years, and they're loving it. The pollinators, the birds, they're very active, full of life, and that's very exciting. So this apparatus over here is a bird feeder, and the birds want to be in here and get the banana or plantain, but they can't all fit at the same time, so they end up taking turns and standing on this area while they kind of wait, I guess, and that's where you're supposed to snap their picture. And you take the picture, I guess it's the elegant picture you take, does not include the feeder. So watch out for this if you guys are watching bird photographies. If you see something like this, there's a couple other models, but there may be a feeder below that the bird is waiting for. This strategy is supposed to avoid people having to like go deep into the forest and make paths and try to go find the birds in a fashion that might damage the forest, and it's kind of like invite the birds out for a banana and then take their picture. Well, we've got all sorts of things. I believe this is, well, I shouldn't say anything, I'm not positive, but here's another interesting looking tree and flowering bush here, hibiscus, Rosa silensis. So that's what we've been working on. As we go down, this is an area that we once built a staircase. We can take this down with guava trees, and we can continue to cut contours into into this coffee field, especially as we continue to prune. We have a lot of stuff planted, so it's almost a revealing process. We're going to cut out the coffee and reveal all the different plants that we have. And here's some Cecropia peltatas. And this triangle-shaped lot was, the coffee rows are like flat on a map when they really need to be curved around. So I'm excited to see the final shape of this as we cut in with the coffee and start making some contours. I'm very excited. I appreciate any comments down below, any species I failed to identify correctly, and any ideas you guys might have for steep slopes. This is an intermediate slope, and I'm going to treat it with contours, and I have some steeper slopes that I'm using other strategies for. So I am planning to continue this series on contouring, and I'm going to actually do it, and I'm going to show some of my experiments in the past as well. So any questions, ask me now. You might influence the arc of the series. Thanks, guys. Bye.